This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him.
Alleluia. Alleluia. Alleluia.
The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, Lord.
After 6 days, Jesus took Peter, James, and John, his brother, and led them up this high mountain by themselves. And he was transfigured before them. His face shone like the sun, and his clothes became white as light. And behold, Moses and Elijah appeared to them, conversing with him. Then Peter said to Jesus in reply, Lord, it is good that we are here. If you wish, I will make 3 tents here, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. While he was still speaking, behold, a bright cloud cast a shadow over them. Then from the cloud came a voice that said, This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. When the disciples heard this, they fell prostrate and were very much afraid. But Jesus came and touched them, saying, Rise, and do not be afraid. And when the disciples raised their eyes, they saw no one else but Jesus alone. As they were coming down from this mountain, Jesus charged them, Do not tell the vision to anyone until the Son of Man has been raised from the dead. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Serves in some ways our orientation mass, because there's a few things you should know when we come to celebrate the sacraments in the Holy Land. First, I don't know if you noticed in the opening prayer and in the gospel passage that it says, when they came up this holy mountain. The readings and prayers reflect that we are in these places where these very mysteries occurred. We're on the Mount of Transfiguration, and so much of our faith about the Transfiguration is contained in this gospel passage. Moses and Elijah appear conversing with Jesus. Moses and Elijah represent all of the law and the prophets. The entire Old Covenant is made present before Jesus, who is the New Covenant. You know, in my own life, I had always had a struggle in not understanding what this was. And I came to the realization that I learned through speaking with others, through studying myself, that part of the reason for this was to prevent the scandal from distracting Peter, James, and John. Because there will be a scandal. The scandal that the one who is God and man would be crucified and would die on the cross. And yet of Peter, James, and John, it is only John who remains by the cross of Jesus. Peter himself messes up. He makes mistakes here. He denies the Lord 3 times. We come together to go on pilgrimage to the Holy Land, to be in these places that the Lord has brought us to, in which he performed his own sacred ministry. We come here as disciples of the Lord to grow closer to him. Are there going to be things that are going to distract us along the way? Yep. But let's focus back on Jesus. Are there times when the bus rides might seem a tiny bit long? Yep. Are there going to be times where there are going to be things we're not used to? Yep. Are there going to be times when people are going to be pushing us and crowding us, and we're going to have to feel like we're being a little bit offensive? Yeah. And guess what? I have permission of Steve Ray to tell you that it is not a sin for you to hold your own in these places, okay? We don't want to give anything up because we're here, And I know as Americans, we're very gentle and loving and sweet, but other cultures are not necessarily that way. So don't let those things be a distraction to you. We are here to fix our eyes on Jesus. And Jesus is going to do remarkable things. Another thing that I want to just tell you really quick about what we do in these places is before the Mass ends, I will ask the deacons, I will announce a mystery, and I'll ask the deacons to recite a decade of the Rosary. Because we'll pray a decade of the Rosary, not just on the bus, but in the place where these mysteries happen. So that when you go home and you are praying the Rosary, you can think, during the mystery of the Transfiguration, yes, I remember this place, I was there. Just see, today we're also going to do the
Cana and Annunciation.
But should we do Ascension from here too, or?
No, that's on Mount of Olives.
Okay, good. So we're going to do the Transfiguration here, and we will. I think you're really going to enjoy this. I think it's an immersion experience in the Gospel. I mentioned last night, Paul VI called this the fifth Gospel. If you've read the Gospels, awesome. I hope you're ready to read the fifth Gospel here, to come to know Jesus in the land, in the people, in the sacred liturgy,